जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी। यमुना तीरवनचारी तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री राधा कालाचंद जी, जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। So Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and let's start with reciting the Mangalacharan, the invocation prayers, so that we can invoke the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, of our spiritual master and all the acharyas. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kanamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuddha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gatadara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, so we are going to continue reading Canto 4, from Canto 4, and we'll start chapter 24 today. And the verse for today is 27th. So we're not going to read all the verses. Today we're going to cover from verse 1 to 31. We won't be able to read all the translations, but we'll read some of the translations towards the end, a couple of them, because they are very important and relevant to today's theme. The chapter is Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva. Okay, so initially we see that in this chapter, from couple of, let's say, first 15, 16 verses talks about the genealogy of the basically line of descendants of Maharaj Prithu. And we all have attended previous classes, and we've been reading how Maharaj Prithu was such an exalted personality, how he was so pious, and he was a devotee of the Lord. And so we see that in these verses, the eldest son of, we are understanding basically the family history of Maharaj Prithu, the descendants of Maharaj Prithu. The eldest son, Vijitasva, he was made the emperor after Maharaj Prithu. And it is usually a tradition when the king passes away or when he retires, the eldest son is made the emperor, he's made the king. So Vijitasva was the eldest son, and apparently he also received a title called Antardhan, which means to disappear. He was given this title by Indra because when Vijitasva's father was performing a yagya, or performing a sacrifice, at that time Indra appeared and tried to and actually stole the horse of Vijita's father. And Vijitasva could see Indra, even though Indra is not visible to everybody, but he could see it. And still he did not take any action because he considered that Indra is a demigod, and out of respect, he did not take any action. So Indra was impressed by this, and he gave the word, this title to Vijitasva was Antardhan. So then Vijitasva's further sons came from, he was married to Nabhaswati, and then he had an eldest son, Havirdhana, who gave further birth to 6 sons. We're not going to name all of them, but one of the sons was Bharishat. Bharishat was an expert like all the other sons, but he became the Prajapati. So Prajapatis were appointed in the beginning when the demigods appeared and they became Prajapati. they were given the responsibility to populate the earth. So Prajapati, so Parishad became that Prajapati to beget children and increase the population of pious people. And then also Parishad, the son, was known as Prachinarbhi. Now this is important to us. This is relevant to what we're going to discuss today. Prachinabarhi. And he got married to the daughter of the ocean, which was who was Satadruti, who was extremely beautiful, and they together begot 10 children. They got 10 children, and all those 10 children were very religious. They had good qualities, the best behavior, and they were extremely religious and pious. So these 10 children were known as Prachetas. And that's what we're gonna discuss today. These Prachetas were ordered by their father to marry and beget children further. But before that, what they did was they went for, I think for 10,000 years, they went and did austerity in the ocean. That's what the Prachetas did. And of course, it sounds in the terms in Kali Yuga, 10,000 years seems like, okay, not even there's not even 1,000 years, but because we are all aware that in different yugas, there was a different timeline, there was a different age people had. So in Kali Yuga, it is said that, it has come down to 100, but there are only few people who make it to 100. It's like average age we can see 70, and sometimes not even that. Okay, we can read. I would like to first read Srila Prabhupada's purport because it's extremely important, and you'll find so many things that, when Srila Prabhupada has written those things which is so strong, it gives us that conviction that we need to believe the learnings that, we're getting in these verses. So I request you to open verse 20. We can start from 26, verse 26. This is when, now I'll just give you a little bit of understanding context to what's going to happen. That all these 10 Prachetas, when they went to do austerity for 10,000 years, when they left home, they met Lord Shiva. This is the meeting of the Vaishnavas and Lord Shiva. Now this is significant to all of us because Lord Shiva is a very exalted personality, extremely exalted. And we're going to understand why he's extremely exalted. There is a reason. What makes a Vaishnava extremely exalted? What makes a devotee a pure devotee? And what are the characteristics of a pure devotee? What should devotees do when they meet each other? All these things are just how beautifully Srila Prabhupada has conveyed these points to us. So we can open verse 26. Okay, I think we can start from 25 just to give a little context, 24 and 25. Yeah, thank you. Would somebody like to read the translation? 24. Yeah, it's a combined verse, 24 and 25. Yeah. We'll just read the translation for this, and the main verse is 27 that we can recite.
The Prachetas were fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of the demigods, emerging from the water with his associates. His bodily luster was just like molten gold, his throat was bluish, and he had 3 eyes which looked very mercifully upon his devotees. He was accompanied by many musicians who were glorifying him. As soon as the Prachetas saw Lord Shiva, they immediately offered their obeisances in great amazement and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord.
Thank you. We can read further, 26.
Lord Shiva became very pleased with the Prachetas because generally Lord Shiva is the protector of pious persons and persons of gentle behavior. Being very much pleased with the princes, he began to speak as follows.
Lord Shiva said, "You are all the sons of King Prachinabarhi, and I wish all good fortune to you. I also know what you are going to do, and therefore I am visible to you, just to show you my mercy upon you.
Okay. Yeah, I think, thank you for that. I'll just read this verse. This is the verse for today, 27, that he just read the translation. So I'm just going to recite the verse and I request you all to repeat after me. Shri Rudra Uvacha Yuyam Vedi Shada Putra Viditam Vaschikishitam Anugrahaya Bhadram Va Evam Me Darshanam Kritam. Do we read word to word translation or do we for the verse? We do? Okay. Shri Rudra Uvacha, Lord Shiva began to speak. Yuyam, all of you. Vidishadaha, of King Prachinabarhi. Putraha, sons. Viditam, knowing. Vaha, your. Chikishatam, desires. Anugrahaya, for the matter of showing your mercy. Bhadram, all good fortune unto you. Vaha, all of you. Evam, thus. Me, my. Darshanam, audience. Kritam, you have done. I'll just repeat the translation for this one. Lord Shiva said, you are all the sons of King Prachinabarhi, and I wish all good fortune to you. I also know what you are going to do, and therefore I am visible to you just to show my mercy upon you. We're going to read purport by Srila Prabhupada. By these words, Lord Shiva indicates that what the princes were going to do was known to him. It is a fact that they were going to worship Lord Vishnu by severe austerities and penances. Knowing this fact, Lord Shiva immediately became very pleased, as apparent by the next verse. This indicates that a person who is not yet a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but who desires to serve the Supreme Lord, receives the benedictions of the demigods, headed by the chief demigod, Lord Shiva. Thus, a devotee of the Lord does not need to try to please the demigods separately. Simply by worshipping the Supreme Lord, a devotee can please all of them. Nor does he have to ask the demigods for material benedictions, for the demigods, being pleased with the devotee, automatically offer him everything that he needs. The demigods are servants of the Lord, and they are always prepared to help a devotee in all circumstances. Therefore, Srila Bilvamangal Thakur said that if one has unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Lord, the goddess of liberation is ready to serve him, to say nothing of the gods of material opulences. Indeed, all the demigods are simply waiting for an opportunity to serve the devotee. Thus, there is no need for a devotee of Krishna to endeavor for material opulence or liberation. By being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he receives all the benefits of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Just to keep the flow going, we'll just continue reading translations and then we'll discuss this. Please read text translation for text 28.
Lord Shiva continued, any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the controller of everything, material nature as well as living entity, is actually very dear to me.
Thank you.
A person who executes his occupational duty properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma, and if he becomes more qualified, he can approach Lord Shiva. A person who is directly surrendered to Lord Krishna or Vishnu in unalloyed devotional service is immediately promoted to the spiritual planets. Lord Shiva and other demigods attain these planets after the destruction of this material world.
Thank you.
Yes, you are all devotees of Lord of the Lord, and as such, I appreciate that you are as respectable as the Supreme Personality God of of Godhead Himself. I know in this way that the devotees also respect me, and that I am dear to them. Thus, no one can be as dear to me, to the devotees, as I am.
Thank you. Last verse, 31.
Now I shall chant one mantra which is not only transcendental, pure, and auspicious, but is the best prayer for anyone who is aspiring to attain the ultimate goal of life. When I chant this mantra, please hear it carefully and attentively.
So this is the cliffhanger for the next class, that you get this mantra in the next class. But today we are going to discuss the verses that we just recited. So it is, I mean, you all read the purport, you all read the translation for these verses, and when I read them, it just felt like how beautiful. This is a mercy of the Lord that so many times we think we cannot directly associate with Him, but He sends His representatives. He sends His empowered representatives, devotees of the Lord, who come down to help us. You know, we read one of the lines where Lord Shiva said that, just like where Srila Prabhupada said in the purport, even if somebody is not a devotee yet, but who has the desire to serve the Lord, Lord Shiva appears to help that person. It's so beautiful. And I think I've spoken to a lot of devotees, and my personal experience, we've all received mercy of demigods. We all used to, maybe some of us are very lucky that we've been introduced to Krishna since our childhood, but a lot of, many of us maybe started on different paths. We did not directly come on the path of Krishna consciousness, but we started with maybe this urge to inquire about the Lord. What is the truth? What is the purpose of my life? Okay, I'm very intrigued by meditation. What is yoga? So we all came with different paths, and we all are sitting here today, by the mercy of Kalachandji, Radha Kalachandji, we're sitting here, right here. And it is through the mercy of every merciful soul that we have met in our lives that we are here. It's not just only by our endeavor. Of course, our desire was there. That's what free will is, right? Our desire was there to know about the Lord. And that is why Krishna sent His devotees in our path, in our life, to elevate us. So it's a very important point that when we meet devotees, we should see that they are here to elevate us. Not that there should be a feeling puffed up, or feeling, not even thinking about offending a person. Not just a devotee, because it says, Prabhupada says that every person is a potential devotee. Every person is a devotee of the Lord. So we shouldn't be making offenses to anybody. I know I'm sitting here and I'm saying it I'm also trying to follow that, but it's very easy when you take shelter of the Lord, and when you see His arrangement in this way, when the Prachetas came, and what they saw was that they saw that Lord Shiva is there, and they understood that they knew that He is the greatest Vaishnava, and they immediately paid their obeisances unto Lord Shiva. There are so many points that have come. And I want to discuss them one by one because I feel that it is so relevant to us. We are all living in Dham. It's not, it's a biggest fortune. And sometimes I forget that, sometimes we forget that because we're so used to seeing each other all the time. But living in a Dham, when we talk about Vrindavan Dham, right, we say it is so, it requires so much sukriti. It requires so much spiritual strength that if you want to sustain in Mayapur or Vrindavan. But even Kalachandji Dham is not less than any of the dhams. So even to live here, we always need to have a consciousness and a reminder to ourselves that my only purpose of being here is to love the Lord and His devotees. And love means to serve. Srila Prabhupada has very easily, broken down the highest yoga, bhakti yoga, in simple words to us. Bhakti yoga means the path of love. And love means, love is a verb. It's not that we sit here and we say, I love you, I love you, I love you. A mother cannot say that to her child when the child wants food or something or education. The mother gives all of that. Mother just doesn't say that, okay, I love you and my love is enough for your nourishment or your upbringing. Love is a verb. It is shown in our actions. And if we really love the Lord, we need to love His devotees. There's one phrase that comes that I really liked was in text 26, the translation. No, wait, one second. There was one line which said that Lord Shiva does not, he gives so much mercy to a devotee who is to a devotee of Lord Vishnu than of Lord Shiva. Basically, whoever comes to Lord Shiva, he's easily pleased. That's true. We've heard this name, right? Lord Shiva is also known as Ashutosh. Ashutosh means somebody who is easily pleased. So if anybody goes to Shiva, even if somebody is born in the lowest class of men, Lord Shiva is easily merciful on them, and he grants them some benedictions that soul desires, even if it's a demon. And we have seen in a lot of pastimes that demons have manipulated and they have cheated by worshipping Lord Shiva, and they have asked for benedictions that have caused disturbances to the world. Right? Ravan was one such example. We have seen so many demons who have done that. So Lord Shiva is easily pleased. But Lord Vishnu doesn't do that. Krishna doesn't do that. In fact, a lot of times devotees say that, right? I keep praying for this one thing and I'm not getting this. Krishna, come on, it's so simple. I mean, I'm asking this for, we say that I'm asking this for my spiritual benefit. Sometimes we cheat ourselves also. We feel, because we know the right thing is to pray for our spiritual advancement. But sometimes devotees say, even that you don't have to do because Krishna knows what is good for you. So Krishna never gives you something that he knows will you cannot handle, or that will cause disturbances to you or the world or to people around you. So he will not give you those things. And just like there's a common example that demigods are often refers to as like this analogy we can understand, that a child goes to a shopkeeper and the store and asks for a chocolate. The guy on the store, he's not going to say, okay, show me your teeth. I need to see if you have any cavities or the chocolate is good for you or not. He gets the money, he gives the chocolate. You give him $1, $5, whatever, and you get the stuff you want. But when you go to your father, when the child goes to the father and he says, I want chocolate, the father says, no, because it's not good for you. Even if the child cries badly, that I really want a chocolate, you don't even love me, you can't give me one chocolate. And the dad says no. He has to put his foot down because he knows that chocolate is not good, it's poisonous for his teeth, he's got cavity, it's not good for my son. And that's how strong Krishna is, that's how strong Krishna's love is. That he will not give us something that is not good for us, no matter what. That is his love. And Lord Shiva is one such devotee of the Lord Imagine this, imagine the mood. I was trying to understand this mood of Shiva, that he sees a devotee, or he sees a devotee has a desire to serve the Lord, he immediately becomes present and helps that devotee to achieve that, to fulfill that desire of serving the Lord. It is so beautiful, right? This should be our mood, that when we see a devotee wanting to serve the Lord, we should become happy. We should become happy that somebody is singing today. I didn't get to sing, and I shouldn't be feeling, okay, I wanted to sing. No. A devotee is singing, and he's singing for the Lord. We should be really happy. Okay, that person made such a beautiful garland for the Lord. We should be really happy. We should be happy that our devotee friends are doing such beautiful dressing. Devotees are not just on the altar, they are doing so many services here. Everybody over here is doing a service, and that should make us extremely happy. Why? Because that's the mood of a devotee that we learned from Shiva here, Lord Shiva, that just by this, we need to spark this fire in a positive way, the fire to serve the Lord. Not that if somebody is trying to serve the Lord and we try to put them down, or we try to find faults in that service. Our duty is to glorify the devotees. Our duty is to help them, because if we help them, Krishna is going to come and help you. Krishna is going to be so pleased. If a child is lost and you help that child you help reunite that child and the parent will be so happy with you, right? He'll be saying, I'll give you whatever you want. You give me back my child. And that is what Krishna, we are all children of Krishna. And Krishna wants us to come back to him, to go back to him. And whoever helps us in this path, and whoever we help in anybody else in this path, Krishna is going to be so pleased. Krishna is going to give you all the love he has. He can give you anything you want, if you want material opulences, if you want liberation, but that's no good. That's not at all great. Even if you become, one of the verses came here, that even if you become a demigod, even if you achieve the position of a Brahma, it said that, right, after 100 births or so many births, you achieve the position of a Brahma, and if you do little more Brahma Lok, and if you do little more austerity, you will go to Shiv Lok. But even then, you can come down to the material world. Even then. Why? Because even that is part of the material world. Brahma Lok, Shiv Lok. So you can easily fall down. Easily. So, which we have, right? We have done that in so many lifetimes. We have fallen down, we have gone up the ladder, we have come down, we have gone up and down. As Prabhupada says, aren't you tired of chewing the chewed? You're doing the same thing again and again, again and again. And the point is that no matter we go to the highest position, highest platform in the material world, it's not going to give us the happiness. Because we do all the pious activities, we get the result of it, we get the benedictions, and we go to, let's say, we enjoy in the heavenly planets, and then we're going to exhaust all those benedictions and we're going to come down. It's like you got $100 cash, right? Gift, $100, or even if you got like $1,000 or even more than that, at one point you're going to exhaust all of it. And the point is, it gets even more detailed. What are you going to do with that $1,000? Because you're going to do more karmas, you're going to do more activities and engage yourself more in stuff that's going to entangle you in the material world. But what's going to elevate you, what's going to bring you closer to the Lord is His devotees. So, as devotees, we should always remember that we don't need to, even though we don't need to serve the demigods separately, we don't need to pray to them separately. No need to doesn't mean that we don't respect them. The fact that we don't need to do something extra rather than just, we can simply worship Krishna.
And we don't need to do anything extra. Why? Because the demigods get more pleased when you are serving the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So many points get clarified here that it's not that we have to disrespect demigods or we don't consider them. They are definitely higher than us. They're definitely superior. So we worship. If we ever come across any temples or we hear about these demigods, we should definitely, if we have any prayers, we should definitely pay our respect to them, and we should pray that, please make me stronger in the path of Krishna consciousness. It can be specific prayer, that if you see Goddess Saraswati, you pray that, may I be able to read all the scriptures of Krishna. May I learn more about the Lord. May I remember the glories of the Lord. Because Saraswati gives the power to, the boon to, like the power to actually, the power of knowledge, right? The ability to learn. So different demigods you can play different, pay your, to pay different, pray to them differently, but you don't need to ask for any material opulences, because when you pray to the Lord directly, all of your desires get fulfilled. But remember, all those desires that are helping you in the path of Krishna consciousness. So yeah, I found that phrase that I really wanted to read. It's in text 28, last line. The conclusion is that a devotee of Lord Shiva is not dear to Lord Shiva, but a devotee of Lord Krishna is very dear to Lord Shiva. That's what Krishna also says, right? Somebody who is directly approaching me, I'm not that pleased. But somebody who is approaching the servant of my servant, somebody who is approaching my servant, then Krishna gets immediately pleased. It's so, even though it's such a confidential knowledge, but Krishna is just like, Prabhupada has just given it so easily to us that we can apply this knowledge. And we can actually remember this in any circumstance, in any relationships that we are dealing, that this person is my way to go to Krishna. I heard this somewhere that, if we ever get, like even giving this example is funny, if we ever get a chance to go to Goloka, even if there's one devotee who is not pleased with you, Krishna doesn't open his gates. Even if one devotee, that's what we should think. Even if one person, one soul should not be left, should not have, resistance towards us, or I should not have resistance towards that devotee. I know it's very difficult because we have so many reasons to be upset, but we have to find reasons to be happy with devotees rather than finding, there are going to be reasons that we are going to feel upset, we're going to have differences, but that should not be our topmost point of reflection when we are dealing with devotees or when we are practicing service. And trust me, it really happens whenever you're serving, right? You're making a garland or you're serving on the altar, when you're reading Bhagavatam. All those things that you have in your heart, that you hold grudges against someone, they keep coming to you. Especially when you're doing service. I don't know, it's happened with me that when you're worried about something, when something's bothering you, or when you're doing service, you actually, Krishna reveals that where you are at fault, where you could improve. But that happens when you really take shelter of, when you really have faith in the Lord, when you really take shelter of His words. And Krishna says, He promises that, you're going to come back to me. He says, if you surrender unto Him, if you surrender unto me, Krishna says, and He just says that, I promise you, I'm going to relieve you of all these troubles. If Krishna can make that promise, then why can't we make that promise? Why can't we make an endeavor, a strong endeavor that we want Krishna, no matter what, I really want to be closer to you. I want to serve you. And that is why we're reading Bhagavatam. Why? Bhagavatam is all about glorifying the devotees. And when we hear these glorifications, we hear what beautiful pastimes happen, we attain that bhav in us. This is what our acharyas say, that if you want Raganuga Bhakti, you want spontaneous devotional service, you need to hear about pastimes of devotees who are performing Raganuga Bhakti. So for example, Shoda Maya, the kind of love Mother Yashoda has for Krishna, if we hear those pastimes, our heart will get cleansed, our sins will go away, we will have a desire to serve the Lord, we will have a desire to step closer to the Lord, and that is how maybe one day we can develop that spontaneous, pure devotional service. Just by hearing. Hearing is so important because it wakes up the soul. One day, somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, when he started preaching in the West, that all these hippies and Americans and different parts of the world who don't understand Sanskrit, Prabhupada, why are you reciting in Sanskrit? Why are you reciting the shlokas in Sanskrit? When they're not going to understand, we can directly go to translation, right? Or we can directly go to the summary. Prabhupada said, even if they cannot understand, their soul is listening. And I'm trying to awaken their soul. How powerful these shlokas are, that our soul is listening. This Jeev Jago is that what it really means, right? It is trying to awaken our soul. Just like, Prabhupada gives this example, when you clap hands, the birds fly away. So the sins in our hearts, they fly away with this sound meditation, with the sound of Mahamantra, with the sound of shlokas that we are reading. This is like clapping. Clapping so hard that the sins are literally, by reading these shlokas, so much ignorance is going away. That is what it means when we say driving the sins away, because one is driving sins away, what we have committed, but one is driving the propensity to commit this, the ability to commit sins again, right? That's what Mahaprabhu did. In all the earlier incarnations of Lord Vishnu, Krishna, Ram, Lord Krishna, they killed the demons. They killed Hiranyakashipu, they killed Ravan, they killed Kans. But when Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityanand came in Kali Yuga, when he was about to, that pastime of Jaga and Madai, thank you. Jaga and Madai, Nityanand Prabhu, the offense was committed to the greatest Vaishnava, Lord Nityananda. And Mahaprabhu was very angry and upset, and he took out his Vishnu chakra. But Nityanand stopped him that your incarnation is of mercy. And you cannot kill. If you want to kill the propensity to commit sins in their hearts. So Jaga and Madai got purified. Krishna did not just kill them. He did not kill. Mahaprabhu didn't kill them. He killed the sins. And that's what we need to do. In fact, when we take initiation, all our sins are taken away. But we can still commit sins after that, right? So we need to pray this Mahamantra, the chanting that we every day. We need to pray to Krishna, to Mahaprabhu, to Kalachandji, that please also take the ability of committing sins from my heart. And you know how that happens? Krishna says that just serve my devotees, serve him, but serve his devotees through. You can serve Krishna through his devotees. Because it gives you so much satisfaction. It gives you so much satisfaction. When we serve devotees, we develop a very nice, happy relationship with them. And Krishna reveals us so much when you are serving somebody in the mood of being a servant. So, yeah, I just can keep going on and on about this topic, that we need to serve the devotees, and we don't need to have any kind of vengeance in our heart, because that is the blocker that is stopping us from reaching Krishna. That's the only thing. Of course, there are many things, but it comes down because you have passed all those things. That's why you're here. The reason that we are here, you're all coming every day for Bhagavatam, for some of you come every day for Mangalarti, even if, you're all doing amazing services, but the reason that the only blocker that might be coming in our way right now is having blissful relationships with devotees. I'm saying many of you have good relationships, amazing relationships with devotees. But if there's any kind of, the heart doesn't feel pleased, or anytime we feel that, okay, something is stopping me, I'm becoming more lazy, or I don't know, I'm not getting so much joy right now. I used to get it, but I'm not getting it right now. It's only because of our relationship, maybe an unhealthy relationship that's going on with the devotee, or some offenses we have committed to Harinam, or there are so many reasons. But yeah, I feel this is very important because we're living in Dham, and this is extremely important for us because we're dealing with devotees all the time. Our contacts have all Prabhujis and Matajis, our faces are all Prabhujis and Matajis, our life is all about devotees. So we need to be really careful, and we need to pray that we can learn from great demigods like Lord Shiva. I mean, he's saying that, imagine he's coming to serve the devotees. Lord Shiva, it's not easy to meet him. It's said that somebody who does so many penances, so many austerities, still Lord Shiva will not reveal himself to him. But here they were just having a desire, the Prachetas just had a desire that we want to serve the Lord, and Lord Shiva just came in their path to help them. And further we'll see the chanting, the mantra that Lord Shiva is going to give to them, that they can become so much closer to Krishna. So yeah, I'm gonna stop here so that I can open for any comments and any questions you all have. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Do we have a mic, Prabhuji? Oh, it's there. I think now it's...
Hare Krishna?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for class. It was really nice. I like this service to Vaishnavas. I kind of have two questions. One is general. So when we hear Krishna says that one who says he is my devotee is not actually my devotee, but one who is the devotee of my devotee is my devotee. Can this apply to things like being a devotee of Lord Shiva? Does this apply to, because you were also mentioning that the demigods are servants of the Lord as well. And for another recovering impersonalist, it's a little bit easier to be vulnerable in relationship with someone that's not like physically there. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
Thank you for the question. So yes, if Krishna does say that if you serve my devotees, then I'm more pleased. And it makes sense if we go to the demigods, or if you go to demigods, then Krishna will be happy. But the thing is that most of us go to demigods when we want something other than, I'm not saying that's a truth statement for everybody, but a lot of times, if we are in knowledge, if we are really intelligent, because Krishna says intelligent people come to Krishna. If we're really intelligent, we would not, I don't want to say waste, but we would not actually waste our time in going through a longer path, going through a longer process than just going to Krishna, which is super direct. But because your question is the conflict between reaching out to his devotees, Lord Shiva just said that the conclusion is that a devotee of Lord Shiva is not dear to Lord Shiva, but a devotee of Krishna is very dear to Shiva, which means that even demigods, they will be pleased if they know that ultimately you want to go to Krishna. So they will give you the intelligence, they will give you the realization to actually go to Krishna. They will channelize that path towards Krishna. And that has happened personally with me. I used to, in my childhood, just because of the family tradition, I used to pray to Lord Shiva. And just somehow, I don't know what happened, after some time, I was introduced to Krishna consciousness, and that did not mean that Shiva is not in my prayers or not in my heart. At that time it came out. No, it just naturally felt it felt very organic, natural, and so much blissful, and made sense to me that, okay, because when you read about this, if Shiva is pleased when you pray to Krishna, then it's a good thing, right? It's automatically going to make the demigods happy. So a devotee, so the flip side is, we want to serve the devotees because we want to go to Krishna. We know that this is the hack, we want to go to devotees. But as a devotee myself, I will not say, come and please me so that you can achieve Krishna. I would want to serve you, and I would serve you in a way that brings you closer to Krishna. So the role of a devotee is also how they reciprocate is, they bring you closer to Krishna. That's what they do. So how demigods would reciprocate is they will naturally course your path in a way that they will take you to Krishna.
Yeah, thank you for that point. I have another question unless someone else has one. Okay. I'm just curious, what is some of your advice for, so, everybody has a different nature, different personality, and some it might be easier to serve and be vulnerable and be friends with other devotees, and some, relationships are difficult. And so what are your thoughts for those who struggle a little bit?
It's a very relatable question. Yes, everybody has a different nature. Even in devotees, we say that we must always be welcoming, we must always be smiling, but we see some people are more reserved, right? They're not very open to that. And I think we should take it in a way that we all have different nature. That's why Krishna says, right, we're all individual souls. If we all had the same nature, then we all would be like duplicates of each other, like clones of each other. But what makes it more natural is that we all have our nature, and some of us, even when we're devotees, we're still trying to get rid of our habits. Some of the habits or negative traits that we are trying to get rid of from past lifetimes, not just this lifetime. It just comes in our way. So sometimes we see that somebody who might be a very exalted devotee, they might do certain things which might be contradictory to what we hear in classes or what we are trying to learn ourselves. It's because they're also trying to get rid of those habits, that anarthas from their heart. They're also trying. So how we can have a more smooth relationship with people like those is, I heard just a few days ago from Nityanand Prabhu, what a wonderful example. I was really surprised that he said that those people in this world, those devotees in this world who you don't have a very amicable or a very pleasant relationship with, they are actually your best friends in the spiritual world. Why? Because they don't want you to get attached here. They still want you to work your way back towards Krishna. And I had a flip question like that okay, people who are close to you, are those your are they not close to you in spiritual world? But what he said was they are indifferent. But people who are actually you have little mishappenings, or let's say little bit differences with them, they are your best friends. And I said, maybe it's a nice way to look at it. Maybe that's why he's saying it. But he said, no, it's not that it's a nice way, not a nice perception, but it's actually true. Yeah, so I think that really helped me thinking, okay, maybe this person is my best friend in the spiritual world, so Hare Krishna. So, okay, everything is good. Maybe that helps, I don't know. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I really liked your point about if Krishna is displeased if even one person, I think you were saying in Goloka, is displeased with us, or one devotee is displeased with us, and so I thought that was a nice way to think about it. But then I was also thinking, like, just in material interactions or daily interactions, I think there's also a certain amount of like acceptance that I can't make everyone happy.
Right.
And that in the end, we're trying to please Krishna by, pleasing the devotees. So we have to a certain extent, leave the results.
Yeah.
Add that.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Krishna really sees the sincerity of the heart. Of course, in a material world, like you said beautifully, that we cannot end up having perfect relationships with everybody, and that's true. That's why we are in the material world, because it's imperfect. We are imperfect. We have imperfect senses. But Krishna sees the sincerity of the heart. So if you really try that this is what you want to endeavor, then Krishna, then he knows, right? He knows that you're trying and you are his child. And he's like, okay, he's trying sincerely, that's all. Because a lot of times we ask, okay, you say at the time of death, if we don't remember Krishna, then, okay, how do I try? Do I remember? There are okay, just follow it throughout your life. And if you're sincere, Krishna will reveal himself. He will come to you as death personified. He's going to come to you. So we just have to be sincere now. Don't worry about later. We be sincere now, and Krishna will be merciful. So thank you for that point. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, wonderful class. Thank you so much. So, if I may share some thoughts, I like the question that Mother Kelly raised, the first
Yeah.
one. Very smart question. Like, demigod worshippers, they are apparently devotees of Krishna. So, in my opinion, that statement holds good when it comes to the parampara. That person has to be coming in the chain of disciplic succession. And secondly, what Mother Krishna Priya said just now. Was that slipped out of my mind?
Second point?
Oh, you. What is it? Oh, yeah. So let's say, as per the statement, because there is a mood. Every statement, as I say, there is nothing black and white about it.
Yeah.
There are different shades. So whatever you said was perfect. But what Mother Krishna Priya said is also kind of corroborating to the fact that Prabhupada said, if you cannot become 100% Krishna consciousness, at least become 70%. All of us, we have heard that. If you can't become 70%, just catch hold of my chadar and then I'll take you from the back door.
Right. Amazing. Thank you, Prabhuji.
This is what I thought you were going to say, so I'll continue what you just said, that if you can't make someone 100% happy, maybe you could make them 70% happy.
Yeah.
And if you can't make them 70, maybe you could make them 50%.
Right.
That, or if you please 70% of the devotees, then Krishna will get you in through the back door.
Yeah. I think you had a question? Oh, okay. Yeah, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thanks for the class. So my question is regarding that the point about seeking the blessings of Lord Shiva to improve our bhakti towards Krishna, and the dharma, the religious, then the economy, and then the desire-related needs. Usually, we seek from the through the blessings of Lord Shiva to help us achieve those goals. As he is the Ashtosh, like the point you made, and for moksha, we typically seek the blessings of Lord Krishna, and I tend to think the Krishna Bhakti itself as transcendental, more than being material, and Lord Shiva being Ashtosh, he blesses devotees quite immediately on the materialistic desires, materialism related desires, so to speak. So if Krishna Bhakti itself is transcendental, how do I reconcile seeking Lord Shiva's blessings to improve our Krishna, to increase our Krishna?
So, what you're saying is that if Shiva gives the benedictions, material benedictions,
Yes.
how do we reconcile going to transcendental bhakti of Krishna?
Yeah.
That and transcendentally approaching Krishna, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think when we're understanding spirituality, a very important factor comes, and that is knowledge. The knowledge of what we are supposed to do, in the sense that what is our dharma, what is our purpose, and when we understand that purpose by the scriptures, by the devotees that come in our parampara, by Srila Prabhupada who came and who gave us this knowledge, who revealed this knowledge. So just by just quickly telling, like just by understanding this whole dynamic that demigods are just heads of certain departments that run in this world, like v- Pavandev, right? The master of, like, somebody who's taking care of air, how we get the oxygen, somebody taking care of water, somebody taking care of our, our bodies functioning rightly, our and Shiva takes care of certain part like destruction, and Brahma takes care of creation. So like different demigods have been given as duties. Even if we don't, just maybe it answers some questions, that even if we don't worship the demigods separately, it's not that those things are not, those things are going to be taken away from us. We still will get all those blessings, because ultimately Krishna is the reservoir where all these blessings, all these things are coming to the demigods. So how we approach the demigods like Lord Shiva and reconcile our spiritual duties is that what I'm asking Lord Shiva, if I'm asking that I need material opulences and I need moksha, well, my purpose is not to then serve Krishna. If my purpose is that, okay, if I can get some Lakshmi, that I can invest this in the service of Krishna, then okay, that's how you can reconcile. So whatever benefits you might get from the demigods, you can use that in service of the Lord. A lot of times people are asked, okay, Prabhupada was asked, you're coming in Mercedes in US, you're traveling in this, how are you a monk? If you're traveling in like expensive cars, if you're making expensive temples. And Prabhupada says, because it's all for Krishna. We are using that Lakshmi for Krishna. And that is the reason money is called Lakshmi. Why? The goddess of fortune, the goddess of the Lakshmi. Why? Because the goddess of wealth. If Lakshmi is used in service of Narayan, then it's great, because that is what is the dharma of Lakshmi. But if it is used in disservice, it is taken away from Krishna, then Lakshmi is not pleased and she will go away after a point. So anything we are getting in our life, any benediction, any boon, any gifts we are getting from demigods or from people around us or from devotees, any quality we possess, if we use that for Krishna, it automatically becomes bhakti. It automatically becomes transcendental. So Krishna consciousness teaches us that we don't have to leave things in this world. We have to unite that thing with Krishna. And that automatically becomes like Yukta Vairagya. Like that's how we become renunciated from our hearts, that we are using all of this for Krishna. It's not that we leave everything externally, but we leave it internally. It's not renunciation of action, it is renunciation in action. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. Right? I hope that answers your question. Hare Krishna. Do we have any questions? Prabhuji, you want to say something? Or should we wrap up?
Recently we had a wonderful festival called Sadhu Sangha. And there's many wonderful devotees that came. Indra Maharaj, Radhanath Swami, Madhava Prabhu, Bhadra Hari Prabhu. Giriraj Swami was here just recently, right? And we had this opportunity to take association from them. And unfortunately, as devotees, most of the time when we approach these great souls, we don't know the right things to ask, and we'll ask something material. This is quite common from gurus. They'll say, my students are asking for material things, and so they give them answers, but the thing behind it is a blessing behind the devotee who wants to see us to come from Krishna. So similarly, when we're going to Lord Shiva and we're asking for something because we don't know what to ask because of our ignorance, He's still blessing us. His desire for us to serve Krishna. Now, I appreciated your answer. Our job is to see that this is a devotee of the Lord, and I should be asking only for the blessings to serve Krishna better. But that's the amazing thing about the devotees. Even when we don't know the right thing to ask, they're there to bless us so that we get closer to Krishna. And this is Lord Shiva, and this is all of these wonderful devotees that we get to see.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I think that's a very nice point. Okay. Should we wrap up? I think it's time. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpataru.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday to Gokulanand Prabhu. Gokulanand Prabhu ki jai.
Vasishate